Hi, Robin here. And here I am obviously about to clean this carpet. I just did a video where I showed myself pre-vacuuming and then pre-treating quite a few stains. There's a lot of stains on this carpet. And there were some pretty obvious urine stains over here from a little doggy who has gone onward and upward. And I treated with the Suspend with 3000 ppm of stabilized ClO2, and already, if you go back to the previous video, these stains were much more obvious. They're fading away already, so the stabilized ClO2 is doing what it does. We do have some color removed staining over here. I got to ask her about that. They must have used something maybe to try to take out a stain or two, and it's taken the color out. So that's unfortunate, because that won't be fixable. Not with cleaning anyway. So let's give it a go. And I'm using a AstroTurf green stripe pad here, and there's my Von Schroeder blue label in the tank. And I did pre-treat that pad a little bit. And away we go. Oh boy, look at that. Oh, I can see another color stain over here. Hang on a minute. I want to get under the edge of the bed there. So, yeah, that, eh? Quite a dramatic color change going on. This is a nylon, so we always love clean nylon. It's always a wonderful fiber to deal with. Cleans so well. But you can see the color coming back rather dramatically here. And as you watch on the right side, you can see that I apply a little bit, but you'll notice that I'm not actually applying very much at all. It's on and then it's off, just like that. All we need is enough. You don't want to over wet the carpet. There's no need to do that. Waters are, you can't clean without water, but it's always a problem to end up, if you end up washing the soil into the backing. That's not what you want to do. You want to control where the soil is, and you don't want to get the carpet so wet that you drive it into the backing. That will result in, almost always result in a wicking issue where that soil over time will work its way back up the fibers and reappear on the surface of the carpet. And I've done many videos where I've talked about that and shown how easily I can restore carpets that have that particular problem, and it's easy to do. And I get a lot of work with carpets that have been previously steam cleaned, and that's often the problem they have. But the SETT method will fix that. Soil extraction transfer technology, done correctly, will do a wonderful job of restoring carpets that have been messed up by overwetting. We're just going to go nice and slow. I'm not in a hurry. nice, easy. This is my first day back, actually, so I've got a couple of small jobs, a decent-sized one, and an estimate on apparently a very tall building downtown. I think it's like 30 or more floors, as I understand, anyway. You can see I just added some solution right there. You can see how actually what's happening is almost all the solution, you know, people say that it'll, when you shower feed, you're just going to soak the pad, and I've shown that's absolutely not true. And one of the reasons is because if you watch on the right side of the machine there, most of the solution is actually flung just ahead of the pad as I moved over the carpet. So it's actually going onto the carpet, not onto the pad. And so it's just simply not an issue at all. But it's funny to hear people say that and keep saying that. But these things that are said keep getting repeated because somebody else says it, and sometimes they present themselves as if they're some sort of an expert. And yet, when you actually inquire, you find out that, well, the last time they actually did work with a machine like this was maybe decades ago, or they have never really worked with a machine like this, and all they're doing is repeating what someone else told them, but they don't really actually have the hands-on experience. And things have changed too. There's over the years I've been showing with my videos how to do this and how to do this correctly, and that makes so I guess what I'm saying is, yeah, I see on some of the forums where guys obviously don't really know what they don't really have the experience. They might, you know, use a rotary and put a pad underneath it, and then they say, well, you can't clean properly with this, but they aren't an expert at it. They don't really have the knowledge or the experience or even the training, and they just assume that it doesn't work very well because they don't know how to do it. But that's not a very fair representation of this method, because you need to have more understanding of how to do it. And that's what my purpose has been for all of these videos, is to show people, here's how you can do this. I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do as far as using a rotary machine back when I started in 1995. I said to myself, I think the rotary and pads done right can really there's a lot of potential here, and I don't think that it's really been explored what the potential is for this methodology, because at that time the only real significant user of the pads would have been really Chem-Dry, who really actually had created a very large franchise network using rotor machines and bonnet cleaning, basically. But I also knew that they were not very creative in how they were marketing it and how they were the whole business model was I think deeply flawed, because I know the one that was in our town, one thing they did is they, like the typical steam cleaners, they'd have you know 3 rooms for $49 or whatever it was back then, advertising, the coupon type advertising, and that just doesn't work. And then what was really, I thought, really interesting is how they used to do steps, and I've never seen them do steps, but I was told by people who had them in their homes that when they cleaned the steps, they said, yeah, they just took that mop thing, is what they called it, off the machine, and the guy got down his hands and knees and he rubbed up the steps by hand. which I thought, oh boy, no, that's primitive and highly inefficient. But apparently that was what they did. At least that's what I was told. So, anyway, I knew that there was a tremendous potential with using rotary and pads. I just knew that it had to be rebranded and recreated, and that was where my idea for the calling it SETT came years later, but I think around 2010 or so was when I came up with that idea. And I've developed this technique right from the beginning. I did believe that the best way to do this was shower feeding, although I did experiment for a few years using a pre-spraying ahead, applying the solution from a pressure sprayer. There was a while there were a lot of guys were using the Pepsi sprayers and pumping them up with an air pump, that was a pretty popular way to go, and I tried that for a little while, but I compared the efficiency and the effectiveness of it, and I concluded that it just simply doesn't compare with the ability to control the moisture that you can when you're shower feeding. Plus, it's another extra bit of gear you got to take in, which is a pain in the butt, at least for a condo or something like that. Whereas I just put the solution in my tank, and in almost every case, I'll have enough in there to do a whole job. So I don't have to take up another, like a pre-spray, pump-up sprayer or whatever. And there's literally no reason to do it that way. This is so efficient and so effective, and I've proven that in my videos where I've posted hundreds and hundreds of times. This really works. And all the objections people have for shower feeding really are unfounded. And again, I've shown that literally hundreds of times. So let's I'm going to work my way back across to the entryway. One more go, and then we'll take a look at the pad. But it looks at this point like I believe all the stains are out, other than the color removed over there. This is not going to go anywhere, obviously. But we'll just work our way back across here. This is 5 360-degree cleaning passes per second on the carpet. That's a lot of cleaning power. And because it's actually on this side of the machine, it's laying the pile this way, it's laying it that way on the back side and that way on the right side, and we're going that way on the front. As I'm going back and forth over the carpet, I'm obviously going over the carpet, coming at it from the fiber from 360 degrees. No, it's not cleaning just one side of the fiber. That's just an ignorant statement, obviously. And it is going to be cleaning the fiber very effectively because as it lays the yarn over, the pad is it'll lay it over, and it's going to scrub, moving the soil from the bottom of the fiber as far down as it reaches off the fiber. That's why it works so well. Instead of a OP, which moves it back and forth, wiggle, especially the longer the yarn, the more it'll actually translate into moving the yarn instead of, well, you know what I mean, I bet. Anyway, yeah, so the rotary done correctly is, in my experience and my opinion, going to provide you a superior cleaning job. Plus, you don't have any risk of tip blooming. It just doesn't exist with the rotary. I've been at it doing this 30 years. I've never tip bloomed a carpet with my rotary. I have with my Vibe, which is a OP, of course. Okay, so we're going to stop and we'll take a look at the pad. I suspect it's going to be fairly dirty. Oh, it's not too bad. You know what? Let's do a run over the traffic lane again. Why not? Like I said, I got plenty of time here. I'm not in a hurry. And I won't be adding any more solution here. Don't need to. Good idea to run over this area a little bit extra anyway because of the urine stains, which by the way, they're gone. You can see that they're totally gone. If this works that well. You know, sometimes I've seen comments and heard people in videos saying, well, you know, how do you deal with urine and with a pad mesh? You got to have extraction. Well, no, you don't. I've done it every way, and I will have greater success using the SETT method, dealing with urine in almost every case. It's not in every case the right thing, but in almost every case, yes, because the CO2, stabilized CO2, is a game changer. It really is a profoundly effective product to have on hand. And I buy mine in bulk from Beckert.com. B-E-C-K, is it E-R-T.com, I guess? And then I mix it up as I need it. Not cheap, especially here in Canada, because you've got to pay extra shipping for, it's considered hazardous for shipping because it's an oxidizer. So you get to pay extra for that. Yay. But that's okay, because it goes a very long way. Yeah, this carpet's going to turn out phenomenal, as usual. We'll just go scoot over here. So we'll just go back to the entrance, and then we'll take a look at the B side of the pad. Oh yeah. Virtually nothing on there. Okay. I'll let you go. I just got to do a little entry over there and then I'll be done. Okay, I'll let you go. Thank you for watching and have a good day.